Now a CBS 47 special presentation honoring Black history.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anthony Bailey. During the next half hour, we will share and look at some amazing achievements of African Americans right here from our own Central Valley. We begin with a story of heroism that has been overlooked for far too long, and local veterans who work every day to change that. For veteran Ronald Vance, serving in the military was a way of life.
Right after the morning prayer from the people in the country over there would be incoming mortars.
During a recent talk, Vance recalled what it was like waking up in Iraq during his second stretch in the military at the age of 50. Vance originally served in the Navy in 1971. His 16-year stretch in the Navy was a stretch that he says had its difficulties.
The black sailors and the white sailors, they would work good during the daytime, but at nighttime, black sailors went over here, white sailors went over there.
Once discharged, he noticed the issue around race continued around the lack of recognition of veterans in Southwest Fresno, many of who were black.
I always heard about this parade, Veterans Day parade. Didn't get to be in that parade until like 2008.
On one unsuspecting day, that would all change. Coming out of the Boys and Girls Club wearing a Vietnam vet's hat, Vance recalls being approached by a lady named Lisa Daniels.
I have nothing to say. 20 minutes later, I hear laughing. Like, what are you laughing at? She said, I thought you had nothing to say.
Daniels is the executive director of Unsung Heroes Living History Project. The group highlights the service of African American veterans. Daniels, who lives in the Sacramento area, graduated from Roosevelt High School and spoke about the lack of stories of black soldiers.
I wanted to learn more about blacks in the military and couldn't find anything.
An interest taken up after learning her grandmother was a riveter on the Franklin Roosevelt,
which blew my mind because she raised me.
Recognizing that black soldiers' sacrifices outpaced their recognition, it was a problem that community leader Maxie Parks also shared.
It can go all the way back to the Civil War. We have made contributions in the military, so why aren't we given the opportunity to recognize those persons who have made those sacrifices?
Unsung Heroes Fresno was born. The display, which by last count had at least 120 veterans, features one side of veterans that are still breathing, while the other side has passed on. An array of experiences that Parks felt was important to get in front of the community's youth.
A lot of these young kids think sports is the only way out for them, but they can have a career in the military.
Stories of valor and honor they hope will motivate the next generation of those that will serve.
The young kids that come in here, they look over at that wall and then they see their relative. They see the people who they know on a personal basis being given some recognition and being honored, and that's what it's all about.
Now to the story of a Valley athlete whose Olympic protest made headlines across the world. I spoke with him about how actions once seen as militant are now being praised.
It was flaring, very flaring. In the 60s, the King administration, the Kennedy administration, Malcolm X and others that made Tommy do better than what he did yesterday.
At the time, Smith, who was part of the ROTC, was on scholarship at San Jose State.
We worked and we acquired that egocentric type attitude of working to survive.
Raised in Lemoore as one of 11 children, Smith says he was taught to work hard and stay quiet.
I came from the cotton fields in the San Joaquin Valley. I didn't hear very much of news anytime while I was growing up in the valley and into Lemoore High School.
His record-breaking speed on the track became his calling card.
I do believe the old attitude that action speaks louder than words.
The poor treatment of African Americans was something even Smith could not outrun, so during the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City, he joined the fight for racial equality. After winning the gold medal, with Carlos at his side, Smith took off his shoes and raised his fist on the victory stand.
Many people view Anthony, the Tommy Smith and the victory stand as a militant act. It was not a militant act. It was the only way I could show my allegiance to a country which represented freedom, which represented democracy, which represented culture.
The gesture touched off a firestorm. The pair was proud of their silent protest. The U.S. Olympic Committee was not. After being immediately sent home, Smith recalls a toxic environment that touched every aspect of his life.
I went to school at night because I was afraid to go to school during the day because I received death threats.
As with many athletic protests, Smith recalls being unjustly vilified and misunderstood.
It was a platform, not the flag. We were not there to fight that flag, only the negativity of how we were treated.
Smith would finish his degree. He would later teach at levels from elementary school to the university. Through that time, the country began to change. People saw the protests differently. 4 decades later, San Jose State unveiled this statue of the pair. It would be over a decade still before the U.S. Olympic Committee saw the error in its ways. The group finally inducting Smith and Carlos into the Olympic Hall of Fame. Smith, having set more world records than any other man or woman at the time, felt it was an honor that he had earned. A half-century-long battle he took for his younger self.
That induction, 50-plus years later, was an induction of a 24-year-old student athlete who worked in the fields, acquired a scholarship, got a degree, and moved forward proactively fighting racism.
He had this to say about those currently in the trenches fighting for racial justice.
Don't throw your ideas to the wind and hope somebody might catch on.
Well, for far too long, minority-owned businesses say that they've had trouble getting financing. Coming up, we profile 2 local companies hoping to solve that problem as we profile those local executives stepping up to make the American dream possible.
Honoring Black History.
Well, welcome back. We continue our series honoring Black history by taking a look at how private companies are stepping forward to support minority-owned businesses. It's a topic that's gained closer attention as of late, with so-called allies looking for a way to help.
We're here to help businesses get access to the funding, the capital that they need to start or grow their business.
It's a line that is music to the ears of many small businesses here in the Central Valley. Tate Hill is the executive director of Access Plus Capital. The company offers a variety of low-interest loans to minority-owned businesses.
Someone starts off with a small loan. It gets them the capital that they need, and they grow that business to a stable enterprise in our community.
Loans that, over time, have helped many Black entrepreneurs who had great ideas, but a lack of funding.
Historically, African Americans have not had their fair share of investment and funding to be able to really grow their businesses.
Hill says for years, banks used a process called redlining to prevent funds from flowing into communities of color. It's a problem Access Plus Capital has taken head on.
Those communities that have been most underserved have access to resources to grow their business.
In addition to the financial investment, Hill says that they train entrepreneurs on financial record keeping and how to build business credit through a program they call technical assistance. Hill says the group's various funding streams allow them some flexibility on who they can make loans to.
Our motive is not profits, but to have impact through our community with entrepreneurs.
A theme shared in town by Self-Help Credit Union.
You may have had the door shut at another banking institution. We are super flexible.
Rosa Pereira works at Self-Help's Fresno branch. She says their group is happy to have been responsible for funding local nonprofits like churches and also local grocery stores.
It's the best feeling in the world. I would do this for free if I didn't have to make my own mortgage payment, but it's so rewarding.
Birthed out of the civil rights era in North Carolina, Pereira says that Self-Help Credit Union now has over 70% membership of African American descent.
We see people where we have started their credit.
Improving credit is vital to the success of Black business, something Hill sees that is good for everyone.
And when we support entrepreneurs, we help to raise the financial profile, not only for that individual, but their family and those workers that are employed there at that location.
Now, you've met some movers and shakers in the local African American community. So what is it you need to know to become a successful entrepreneur? You'll find out that answer next.
Honoring Black History.
Well, welcome back. I just brought you the story of Valley companies stepping forward to help Black entrepreneurs, and now we take a look at one of those companies that was helped.
We silk screen, we embroider, we do t-shirts, we do large signage, we do graphics.
Entrepreneur Myrick Wilson has grown his company, Mad Illustrators, into a Fresno success story. Mad Illustrators moved to this facility just outside downtown Fresno back in 2008. Here, they produce large orders of prints on t-shirts, hats, and even cars.
This is our wide format printer. It allows us to print large signs. We can make from stickers to iron-on to things that can go onto cars.
Staying ahead of the emerging technology keeps the company competitive in a landscape that is only getting smaller thanks to the internet.
We have to compete not only, within Fresno, but we have to compete with the world.
Wilson reflects on his early days in the working world as a reseller for a telecommunications company. He recalls how one conversation with the company would change how he saw business forever.
This is our product. We control the profits. We control what we give you.
The experience of shrinking commissions would prove to be an important lesson.
They taught me the importance of being able to own your own product.
In 2005, Wilson would go on to start his own business. The idea birthed from the need he saw in the community for quality printing. So how did his business thrive in downtown for the last 15 years?
Coming early, staying late, doing whatever that we need to do.
Wilson credits hard work.
Word of mouth and taking care of our customers, doing what we need to do.
And help, a large chunk of which came from Access Plus Capital. The company offers loans to small businesses and also business coaching to a variety of businesses across the valley. So what is it you need to know to be a successful entrepreneur?
If you're a person that enjoy pleasing people, then you can be a good entrepreneur.
The idea that you are your own boss is only partially true.
If you're looking to be an entrepreneur because you want to be your own boss, forget about it. You have more bosses than a person that's working a regular job.
When it comes to issues around race, he prefers to work past them.
If you notice these other distractions or these other barriers, then you're not overcoming them. You're succumbing to them.
A push toward success he must feel when he walks into a room where he sees people wearing his products.
As an entrepreneur, you start thinking about how many other people that's in the room that's not wearing your product. And you realize that you have to work a little harder.
Nothing like a little motivation there. All right, coming up, forging a hero in fire and smoke, a local company using their influence to recruit the next generation of African-American firefighters.
Black history.
Welcome back. Now, from the pages of social media to the commercials in your favorite show, the McIntyres are quickly rising into the who's who as influencers. A positive example that may help attract the next generation to the Fresno Fire Department. Now, speaking with a group of Black firefighters, it was clear growing up the faces that arrived to fight the fires in their neighborhoods didn't look much like them. A sad reality they hope to change.
You know how some days things just magically seem to go your way?
From TikTok to Instagram and YouTube, life with the McIntyres certainly has its fun and fabulous moments. The couple who initially made their name on social media is quickly becoming a picturesque example of a family for major companies. The duo made of wife Shantae, a full-time influencer, and husband Michael, who spends most of his time away from the camera in front of a different type of bright light.
And I'll make sure that we get to call safe.
McIntyre works as an engineer for the Fresno Fire Department.
The engine would come screaming down the street.
But not seeing a face that looked like him gave him doubts.
Being a kid from Inglewood, I didn't think that was a possibility for me.
After playing college basketball, he started to think about a career. It was firefighting. In 2005, he got his shot. McIntyre understands the gravity of what it means for the community to see him in a uniform.
There's been times where I've been out on a fire or even at the store. We go to the store, we grocery shop, and I will be walking past somebody, and usually like it's an older Black woman or Black man, and they would look at me and they'll give me the head nod like.
Fellow firefighters like DeAndre Douglas may have had a less public face, but the motivation to join was just as valiant. Raised in Clovis, he recalled being inspired to protect his community after seeing firefighters on 9/11.
There were people running into that building to help those people while people were trying to get out. If it's a commercial structure, I'm going to pull this big 1 3/4 line.
Duties that he's carried out during his 14-year-long career. Douglas recalls not seeing a firefighter that looked like him until later in life.
I was an adult when I saw my first black firefighter.
Several black firefighters from his family's church heard of his interest and reached out to him to help him through the process. For Captain Willie Johnson, service had always been a family business. His dad served in the military, and his son now works for the LA County Sheriff. He recalls his first exposure to the field one summer when he worked with a wildland fire crew.
The most fun I had being miserable, because growing up we didn't go camping.
He still remembers the moment he got the call.
Don't play with me. I just want you to know I want to scream right now, but I'm sitting at my desk, so I can't. But I am very happy, trust me, I'm happy for this offer, yes.
Still excited, nearly 2 decades later, he is now the example for the next generation.
Walk into a fire and there's these 2 little kids standing there, and one of them just starts hitting his buddy. He's like, oh my God, they got black firefighters.
Truly an inspirational story there. All right, up next, he's a trailblazer in more ways than one. He broke barrier after barrier to become the city of Fresno's first African-American fire chief. His intriguing connection to our current fire chief next.
Honoring Black history.
Well, welcome back. Hearing those stories from firefighters about their first encounters with a black firefighter got me to thinking about my own experience. I was in junior high school and a teammate from my track club introduced me to his dad. Little did I know that I was meeting Fresno's first black fire chief.
I was really wondered on, not sure how I was going to be accepted.
In 1978, Michael Smith broke the color barrier in the Monterey Fire Department as the first black firefighter. It would become a familiar theme through Smith's career. In 1994, he was hired here in Fresno.
It was, very challenging, very rewarding. I really loved the job and the time that I spent in Fresno.
He credits the department's handling of a Lear jet crash in his first year that left many minds at ease about his ability to lead.
By us getting through that incident, I think as well as we did, helped to move us along as me as the fire chief and the rest of the department.
During the course of his 9-year career here in Fresno, Smith said he expanded the promotion system, weighing more than just a firefighter's test score.
What they did for the department, what they did within their respective communities, and just generally how they were all around as a person. I was able to bring on, I hired several women, one of which is the current fire chief, Carrie Donis. I hired her as a firefighter.
It would turn out to be the unofficial passing of the baton.
He gave me a shot. He hired me as an entry-level firefighter.
As the city's first black fire chief, brought in the person who 20 years later would become the city's first female chief.
I worked hard for the positions I promoted to.
And in 2014, Carrie Donis took the reins of the department.
We have done great things as a team, and I'm glad I can be a role model for young women in the profession.
A legacy she plans to sustain by continuing to attract the best and the brightest, even in the age of COVID.
Strong work ethic and a positive attitude. We are doing a recruitment in the spring that we can teach you to be a firefighter.
Donna says projects like the Final Five highlight the contribution of women in the department.
This is a viable profession for you and your long-term goals, to include if you want to have a family and children and what have you. We still do that.
And who knows, in her next class could be the department's future chief in the making.
Boy, it'd be great to promote from within and see that happen.
Wow, what an amazing story that is there. Well, we want to thank you for coming along with us on this journey honoring Black history. We hope that you are able to learn something during the course of this show that fuels conversations in your home and in your neighborhood. And of course, for more information on these stories, head over to our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Thank you for joining us, and good night.